Okay, today I'll be reviewing the Dell Studio 14Z. It's a 4.5 pound, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it's 4.5 pounds. And it ranges in variations in thickness from 0.76 inches to 1.2 at the middle. That's if you have the lid closed all the way, which I'll go ahead and do for you here. Um, And reality is, it almost all of it is over an inch thick, except for the very last 2 inches near the front, which is nice having it a little bit kind of like a sharp shaped, little sharper shape to it. But yeah, um, the keyboard on this is pretty nice. It feels kind of flimsy when you're typing on it usually, um, and for that reason, I give the keyboard like a 7. Probably a 7 out of 10. I mean, it works. It works. There's no real strong complaints. It's just it's not great to type on. Probably one of the best features about it is that it's got a backlit keyboard. At least on my option, it does. Actually, I installed one um, by buying it online or by getting it online, and you can order them directly from Dell if you know the right people, or you can even probably pick them up online on eBay or um, some other place. And it's really not too bad to install for yourself. You just have to just do a little research and you'll figure it all out. Um, all right. Uh, so, uh, so this is Dell Studio 14Z. Let me go ahead and show you my system rating. We always kind of, or a lot of people like looking at this. And as you can see, it gives me a 5.6 for the processor, a 5.5 for the memory, and I believe this one has 4 gigs of memory in it, DDR2, and the processor is a T65 2.0 gigahertz. You're not going to have any problems with that processor. The processor's plenty fast. You can watch Hulu HD on it. And the graphics on this has got a 9400M, which is an integrated graphics, but it's the strongest integrated graphics money can buy right now. It's the same graphics on the as on the MacBook and the MacBook Pro up to the 15-inch, the least expensive 15-inch MacBook Pro, and it works. You can play a number of different games. I've played Counter-Strike Source on here with 60 plus frames per second at the native resolution. You can play Team Fortress 2, but you're not going to get 60. You're probably going to get around 35, probably on average at native resolution. And you can't really get any better than that because it's a shader-heavy game, and you're just not going to get better than 35. Even if you drop it to a lower resolution, you're going to get about the same. Because I believe it's because there's the processor is the bottleneck or the GPU is the bottleneck. I'm not sure why, but you get about 35 no matter what resolution you're running at. Um, and the 3D gaming performance, it gives it a 4.3 with the Radeon, or not with the NVIDIA 9400. And I've got a 500 gig, 7200 RPM hard drive in here, and it rates that as a 5.9. Um, for the keyboard here, we've got, you'll notice the escape key, and then you've got the Wi-Fi on and off button. And these buttons up here are all dedicated media buttons, etc. So you've got your eject button in case you hook it up to like an external DVD drive. You got your fast forward, rewind, pause, play pause button right there. You've got a volume up, volume down, and a mute button. And this is to turn off your backlit keyboard if you've got it, which has 2 different brightness settings and then off. And then here this turns off this turns down your brightness, and this turns up your brightness. The keyboard, the screen is definitely very bright. It's got a very narrow range of whether the colors are right. Like if you go up or down, things tend to get washed out, or it's just too dark. It's a good screen though. I don't have any complaints about the screen. This is the battery life indicator. I don't know what exactly that does. Oh, that tells you the status of your battery. If you see that, I just hit the battery and it tells me I have 27% left. Um, And this looks like an external monitor port adapter thing. Okay, now I'm going to take a look at the ports on this thing, which isn't as many as you'd think would be on a 14-inch laptop. We got the network out, or the network in, so you can plug into internet, USB, and then we've got an HDMI and a display port. And the display port technology is new. It's got the ability to export to two different monitors from one source. So you could actually have this laptop be showing on two different monitors with just one cable or one plug-in coming out of it. And so it's pretty new technology. There's not hardly any monitors unless you buy specifically a monitor that has the DisplayPort technology because it's new. And for that reason, I kind of wish they'd included a VGA instead, because I actually have VGA monitors and I don't have any DisplayPort monitors, and so it's kind of a pain in the patookie. You know what I mean? Now I purchased a SD card reader for this, and so far I haven't been able to get it to work with my SDHC 8 gig card, but I think it'll work with my smaller 1 and 2 gig sticks, SD cards. So I'd recommend getting one of those. It's got two headphones. So if you and your friend want to share a movie, which is great. It's got a mic. That's probably one of my favorite features about this laptop. It's got a FireWire in, which is for downloading cameras and stuff like that. And here's the eSATA port slash USB port, which is important if you want to hook up an external drive at higher speeds. You can actually run an external hard drive at the same speeds that the internal one is running at, so you can run programs off of it, etc. Here is the USB, and here's the power button. So overall, this laptop stays fairly cool, and for that I give it a 9 out of 10, staying cool. And the battery life is pretty good at about 4 hours, 4.5 hours, with the brightness at a medium level and running wireless and, doing typical stuff like watching Hulu and then switching over and doing some office stuff and switching over doing a Word document, stuff like that. Typical mixture is about 4 to 4.5 hours. If you really want to push the battery out, you can probably get over 5.5, maybe 6 if you're pushing it. It's got an 8-cell battery, so it can go longer than most laptops can. And overall, this is a pretty decent package with good portability. You're lacking an optical drive, which is one thing that kind of stinks. You'd think they'd been able to make it a little bit thinner without having it, since they didn't add an optical drive. Anyway, so I definitely would recommend this laptop for those of you who are looking for a good bargain out there. Though there probably are some other laptops like the HP DM3Z that I would recommend over this one, just for it's the same size, in my opinion, a better build quality and better features. And also the Asus UL30A and also the Asus UL80 VT. The 80 VT's got a dedicated graphics card that you can switch between Intel and NVIDIA, so you can have better battery life or more power. So that's why I'd also recommend the Asus UL80 VT. So all in all, I give the Dell Studio 14Z an 8 out of 10. It's a pretty nice laptop, but there's definitely room for improvement with a VGA port and an SD card reader that's normally not included, and also battery life seems like it could have been better considering what it's got an 8-cell in it, and also the other thing was the build quality. It sometimes felt a little cheap, like the keyboard, since it's so flimsy. Sometimes it feels a little cheap, even though the keyboard's nice to type on. Oh, and the other big complaint I had with it was, if you'll notice, I'll try to get it reflecting right. So, do you see these little marks and scratches right here? I did absolutely nothing, and those started coming up, just showing up. I think it's just from the screen coming down and touching right there. And they just didn't include a very durable plastic palm rest, and for that reason, I would also discourage it. This laptop does have great speakers. I give it a 10 out of 10. Um, Again, the touchpad, I'm only going to give probably a 6. The touchpad really is not ideal. Overall, laptop gets an 8 out of 10 though. Particularly because it's a value, really good value for buying this size of a laptop with the same amount of features as a MacBook Pro 13-inch. So um, anyway, I do recommend it, though I'd probably recommend some other ones as well.